And yeah. Yeah. Why am I back on this game, bro? Why am I back here? I had no intention of leaving COD, but I am going to be 100% completely honest. This game is just horrible. Not in the ways most people would think, like graphics or like just optimization or stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna speak the hard truth, and I don't know if people will agree with me. If they don't, that's cool. I'm just gonna just say what I want to say about this game and just my thoughts and feelings and emotions because um I don't know. I have so much to say. So, for one, it's a great game. It definitely is. You meet a lot of great people. You have your good times, you have your rough times. It's COD. It's part of the experience. And I'm gonna phrase that a lot, but let's talk about the serious things. All right. First of all, fix SBMM. All right. Now, I'm not like SBMM for me is really 50-50. Like either I go against really good players or I just go against really shitty players. Like my teammates, I don't really have to worry about my teammates because I mean, my teammates are I'm more likely to get, good teammates than I am bad teammates. I still occasionally get one to two like really like shitty teammates. I kid you not, dude. Like, I mean, I've been playing pubs, for quite a while now, for a couple hours, to get this new sniper. This new sniper is actually pretty fire. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's pubs, you come across a few sweats here and there. In ranked though, like ranked wise, my teammates are actually not bad. This season, at least, my teammates weren't actually that bad. I only had, I think, one or two games where my teammates were like 0 and 15. Also, I can't read chat because my laptop's being funky. It's connected to the internet, but won't load anything. So don't know how that works when my phone's connected to the same internet. Um, Usually, I don't know. It might just be something on the provider's side. I have no clue, bro. But and I mean, I could connect it to my hotspot. The only problem with that is like like the speed at which my internet goes is so like or not internet, sorry, the hotspot. Like because I use it goes off data. It's shitty. It's so bad, really fucking bad. Um, yeah, let me just try it. Let me try it. I'm gonna try it. I don't know. Like, I wanna do some games here, but I don't know. So let me go ahead and get connected. Let me pull up my stream on my laptop. Let's see how this goes. Um, but yeah, uh, SPMM, it hasn't been bad to me a couple times actually, but for the most part, it hasn't been too bad. It's mainly the main mode I see a problem is, or at least like the main like three modes, like hardpoint, domination, and S&D. Those are the three main modes that like I, I don't know. They're horrible. Like at least teammates wise. Now, I mean, occasionally I do get teammates who like carry me. Um, but yeah, sometimes I also just get really dog shit teammates who go 0 and 15 because I don't know, like how how. I always ask myself that is like when I see these people's like rank, especially in legendary, I don't know what it is. There are more people in legendary rank who do so like shitty. I'm not even like joking. Like these dudes will go 0 and 15 and they'll be like, "Oh, my team's so shit, bro." Brother, you're 0 and 15. Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. This hotspot is so slow, bro. I'm actually gonna die. Yes. Hey. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's up with that. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about is the meta. I feel like this season alone, okay, I'm gonna keep it like just simple, plain and simple. All right, the meta isn't bad. I'm gonna be completely honest. The meta is actually not terrible. With the new three-line rifle, I really don't think this thing is gonna be meta. Like, I mean, yeah, it one taps, it's got 20 rounds, and it's a bolt action, and you can one shot it. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be meta. Because I mean, I've gone up against it, and I mean, it depends on the player, man. It depends on the player. If the player plays like Ganeth or like Cisco, yeah, dude, you're done for. But if they like are really bad at the game and they need a hard scope, I mean, yeah, you're fine. But and like most of the people in ranked, it kind of differs because it's like even at legendary, you still go against like players who should be in master rank, and I really feel like that's where I'm gonna go back to SBMM, where SBMM becomes a problem for most people is like the game. I get how like it matches you based off uh your own skill level, but I don't believe it. There's more to it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to sign in here. Ugh, it's so slow, bro. It's actually so slow. But yeah, because there have been times when like I've played ranked games and like the enemies, like at least like the top two enemies are like they got like 5 or like 8 kills in S&D, and you look at the bottom, like the bottom people, and like tell me why these dudes are 0 and 8. Like what? Like what? Like how? How? You know? It makes no sense. I silence my volume. All right, I got it. Hold up. Nice. But it's gonna buffer. Yay. I'm so excited. Yeah, this is gonna be an absolute pain, bro. It could also just be my hotspot. I don't know. And then the third thing I want to talk about, um, is just the overall state of the game. I feel like COD has definitely changed very noticeably over these past. what, 5 years, almost 6 years. Yeah, yeah, because October, yes, almost 6 years. Wow, that's crazy to think. And I feel like for me, I put this game down for 3 weeks. All right, let me add that in there. I hadn't known about the three line rifle or the new Gundam collab or anything. I put it down. I stopped playing. I stopped playing with my friends on here. I stopped playing ranked. I mean, I'm leggy, but I don't play. And I have the new ICB AK-47. So I quite literally have, or sorry, I had at the time no reason to open the game. Now I'm not legendary in BR, but I don't like BR, and well, I don't like it as much. I used to there was like a few months ago, like I pretty much played BR until I got to like I think it was like 20,000 rank points or something. But I stopped playing uh because it got repetitive, it got boring. I hated like even Cry and Alcatraz. Those games are too long, or at least it feels that way. I don't like how long the games are. And I also feel like in BR a more passive mode. And I mean I did play passive for the majority of COD, but I've recently became more aggressive. I still do play passive, just try not to play as like I try not to play passive as much. Um, because playing aggressive was one of my flaws. Like, for example, if the bomb is planted and I have to 1v3 and then defuse, that's my gap there is I have a hard time, pushing, being aggressive, really, you know, putting pressure on the enemies. I have a hard time doing that. And so, that's something I've been working on. That's something I've been trying to build up and kind of, you know, hone like myself in. Um, but it's really hard for me because I'm so used to, waiting and, just listening, you know. If I could restart COD, like not even like 5 years ago, just right now, if I just discovered COD, I wouldn't have this, you know, blockage, like this kind of wall, It's like I'm trying to break down this wall, but I just don't have the right tool for it. And it's preventing me from taking that next step into improving and just overall getting better. And I mean, there are other flaws with me, especially, COD mobile wise. You know, there's so much more I can improve, but for right now, just being aggressive and putting pressure on those enemies, it's definitely really hard for me. Um, and I obviously, going back on what I said on how, BR got repetitive and it's boring and you know, I just don't enjoy it as much. The same thing is said for MP. MP is probably more repetitive than BR. In fact, MP is probably this is probably the worst. These past 3 seasons have probably been the worst 3 seasons I have ever played ranked in, or past four. Whenever the MG42 was released, ever since the MG42, yeah, it's been a shitty experience. Yeah, there were other metas like, the PDW meta, the dual Fennec, the Akimbo Fennec meta, you know, those weren't bad. When I'm getting cross-mapped in 3 bullets, I could be an Alcatraz and still get knocked in 3 bullets. That's where I cross the line. That should not be a thing. An SMG should not have as much range as a sniper rifle. That's all I'm saying. And in LMG should not be able to kill in half a nanosecond. Because why am I dying across the map faster than I can blink? I can't even react. I hear a footstep, I'm dead. And now we have a sniper rifle, which I don't really think is going to be that bad. I think people are kind of still like stuck up on this. Oh, well, the MG42 was meta, and so was the USS-9. And matter of fact, the USS-9 is still on top. It's been what, 3 seasons, and it's still in the top three. Now, obviously, it definitely it got the nerfs are definitely there's a noticeable difference, especially at longer ranges. Um, I tried using it at like I don't know how far it was, like 15 something meters. The damage drop off is insane, insane. I was doing like 17 damage. I kid you not. It was either 15, it was either 10 or 15 meters. But I think it was just also the barrel because now I'm using without the barrel and it's still three tap or not. Well, it's not three tapping. It still kills really fast. Is what I'm saying. Um, which is ironic considering the VMP, like it wasn't even meta. It really wasn't. It was balanced, kind of. But because the VMP was brought out to rival the USS-9. However, the VMP got nerfed literally after it just got released that season. And I say it's so ironic because it took them 3 seasons, not even three, maybe less, maybe like 2.5 seasons to give the USS-9 its first nerf, and it wasn't even a nerf. And then the second nerf came 3 seasons in. This gun is still good. It's still top three. Or no, it's still number one. It's still number one. SMGs wise, it's still number one. It's still on top. Now, the VMP can still ride. And in fact, I would say the VMP probably kills faster um, than the USS-9. This new sniper rifle is probably you're going to see a lot in S&D, but I really don't think it's going to be meta. I mean, yeah, fast ADS, high damage. Yeah, it's probably going to be a pain. You're probably going to see a lot of hard scopers. It sucks. You know. Um, and we've seen metas in the past. All the metas we've seen. The Growl meta. We saw the Fennec meta. The NA45 like that. We've seen some pretty bad metas, really bad metas. But I think one thing that needs a key touch is not not the main metas, more of like the side ones. I played a game. This dude is using an FHJ and a shotgun. Now, I'm not gonna complain about shotguns because they're really shotguns aren't meta. They aren't. And in fact, I would say they take skill to use, especially in MP. MBR, not so much, considering everybody uses them. But in MP, yes, I would say they do take a considerable amount of skill. The problem lies in that when I do come across someone that is using a shotgun, they are either A, camping in a corner, or B, camping in a corner. Do we see where this is going? And what's really more annoying is how when they use a shotgun, whether it's the HSO, KRM, by 15, whatever, they can one-shot me across the map 60 meters. But when yes, I use a KRM by 15 HSO, it takes me 3 or 4 shots before they even get to half HP, which I find really ironic. Now, obviously, in my KRM, I do not have slug rounds, so that is probably why they're one-shotting me. But even at that, I literally, the guy my teammate killed him, and the bot that I shot died in one shot. Why did the first guy not die in one shot if my crosshair was literally over his chest and he survives two shots to the chest? That makes no sense. Skill-based damage is real. It is. And there's a lot of things I want to just get over. Um, so aside from skill-based matchmaking, aside from the metas, and aside from just the overall side of the game, next topic I want to get on is the players. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good players out there. There is, there really are. The problem lies in pub games. I'm gonna keep this, and I'm only going to say this once, and I'm not going to repeat myself. If you are legendary, if you are grandmaster, and you are sweating in pubs, you need to go to ranked. Because there is no reason why you, a legendary, should be sweating against veterans and master players. Now, yes, there are other grandmasters and other legendaries that play pubs. The difference is that we don't try. Now, you could be one of those players that just plays so good it looks like you're trying, which I get and I can relate to because I do the same thing. Not every game, but the games I do, yes, I can relate. Now, when you start doing this extra movement for no reason, zigzag, backslide, whatever, you are trying. You are actively trying. There is no reason for you to try in pub games whatsoever. You are getting nothing out of it. No rank points, no nothing. So you don't need to do it. There's no point in you needing to do all that. Now, ranked, actual ranked, yes, I understand. It's ranked. You need to get legendary. Um, and that's the difference. Is pubs for a reason. Now, sure, go to pubs to warm up. You don't need to sweat your ass off though. You don't. I haven't touched the game. In 3 weeks, I've been playing now for 2 or 3 days. You don't need to sweat against me. You don't. Any of us who have been legendary 15 or more times who don't play the game anymore, you don't need to try. Simple. Simple as that. Now, if you do try, yes, I am going to sweat against you. I am going to use the meta. But for the most part, I'm not. I'm gonna either use probably a Krieg or just some stupid loadout. And that's the other thing about the sweaty players is they all have high egos. I'm not joking. All of them. Every single one of them. I don't care if it's your favorite content creator. I don't care if it's somebody that isn't known. I don't care if it's a random TikToker or whatever. Everybody in COD has an ego. That's the truth, and that's the facts. If they didn't have an ego, they wouldn't be playing COD. They'd be playing the fucking Sims or something. They'd be playing like fucking Farm Simulator. I don't fucking know. Everyone in COD has an ego. Go to World Chat. I promise there's a dude flexing his 9 Lamborghinis and saying he can buy your whole bloodline. I promise you. Everybody in this game has an ego. And some people take it more seriously than others. I myself have an ego. Now, because I put the game down for 3 weeks, I tell you this now. If you are stressed or you are um just like if you are anxious or whatever, if you're mainly stressed and like you're just in a state where you're like sad or something, put the game down. I'm not joking. This game deprives you. It toys with you. It toys with your emotions. It toys with you mentally, physically, and emotionally. I'm not joking. Just take my advice. Don't play the game for a couple weeks. When I did, it was the happiest 3 weeks that I have ever experienced. I was happier. I felt so much better. I had confidence. I actually felt like doing activities. Ever since I came back, all of that has gone. All of it's gone. Now, I'm not saying I'm not happy. I still am. But when I came, the first day that I played this game with my friends, it clicked. Something in my head clicked, and I just did not feel happy. I was not enjoying myself at all. I wasn't. I was not having fun. Now, it wasn't because we were playing ranked and everybody's using the meta. We were playing pubs. And I mean, we were winning. We were on a pretty, I don't know I think we went on like a 30 win streak, but I wasn't happy. And the main reason is because I don't like playing this game. And now I know people will be like, well, why don't you delete it? Just get rid of it. Just don't play it. I spent money on this game. So, and I mean, yeah, it's not the best excuse, but I mean, I still enjoy playing it. The problem is I just don't like trying. Don't. And I know people be like, okay, well, play casually, don't try. That's the problem. I've been legendary 18 times, top 5K, and MP. That competitiveness is still in me. You can't think of it this way. Think of it as 5-year-old bread, right? It's moldy, it's nasty, it stinks. Do you think you can get rid of that stenched smell, moldy bread with just a swipe of your finger? No, no, you can't. It's the same thing with being competitive. You have to adapt. You can't just, oh yeah, I play casually, and yes, I still, people, I myself am competitive. If I don't win, obviously I've gotten better. Before, if I lost and like I found somebody annoying, I'd 1v1 them and shit on them. But now, if I lose, I lose. I don't care. It's a process. Now it's like, if someone talks shit, I just don't care because at the end of the day, dog, it's not worth it, dude. If somebody talks shit to you, that means you're in a better spot than they are. Because the reason they're talking shit is probably because they went 0-15 like a few games ago. Yeah. I had to sneeze. They went 0-15 a few games ago, and this game is draining them. It's pulling them in deeper. And so, they're in this state of mind of where they think, oh, we won. I feel so good and I want to shit talk now. Reality is they're fucking depressed. They hate playing this game. And I can speak for everybody. When you lose, yeah, it sucks. Especially in ranked, yeah, it sucks. Because that's one game you could have been closer to legendary. It sucks. In pubs though, that's just in fucking embarrassing, dude. You're shit talking over nothing. And trust me, half the people that play pubs do not give a shit. We do not care. When somebody shit talks me, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's a pub game. I'm not gonna get hurt over a pub game. If it was ranked, that's a whole different story. If it's ranked, you're getting shit on. Now, that was past me. And by past me, I mean that was me who was actually fucking good at the game. I don't play the game as often. I only play when I feel like playing, which is like never. But this stream right now is one of those rare occurrences. And trust me, putting down COD Mobile, finding better hobbies, I kid you not, I was so much happier. I felt alive. I felt so good. And now that I'm back, I feel like complete shit. everyone will agree this game, the devs are dead ass money hungry. They do not give a shit about the community, and they sure as hell don't care about the hackers. We got CX out here hacking their dicks off, streaming it on TikTok. They're not fucking doing anything about it. You know why? Because they don't fucking care. They just want money. Now, obviously, they do listen. They release these collabs, and that's great. And us because their game's fucking dog shit. I mean, let's be real, people. The only reason they came out with this collab is because their fucking game was declining. Let's be real. Now, I'm not saying that's the reason every single time, because realistically, it's not. But you got to remember, this game is 5, almost 6 years old. Now, I mean, I'm sure they got plenty of stuff planned for the future, but for now, it's just like this update is great. I love it. Gundam is an absolutely amazing anime show, but let's be honest, they only came out with this update because their game was shit. City State, just filled with absolute skillless players. And that's just how it is, you know? Now, I will admit, I would rather have this sniper being meta than some random SMG that can two-tap me from across the map. Because at least the snipers is, realistic. If I get shot by a sniper, yeah, I'm done for. I'm dead. Whereas, an SMG, you're not dying in 2 fucking bullets. You're more like 5, 6, you know? But I mean, it's COD. They gotta have a meta. That's just how it is. That's how it'll always be. The game always has to have a meta. If the game doesn't have a meta, you're fucked. The game's fucked, sorry. Um, what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, world chat. Where to start? All right. Yeah. God, this is just world chat is obviously filled with the most iconic people. Obviously, you got the people talking shit to everybody, trying to rage bait. And then you got you got the normal people, like 1v1 sniper, request sniper. Um, and you got the people like just starting drama for no reason. And you got the dudes who think they have 6 inches and they don't. It's actually more like 2 inches. Trust me. Trust me, it's the truth. And you got the other guys who are saying, "Oh, I got 9 Lamborghinis and I own 3 businesses and I'm the CEO of Facebook." Lying their ass off. Trying to act big. They're a nobody. Trust me. And then you got the semi-normal people who actually like chat. They'll be like, "Hello, world chat," or like, "Hey, world chat," or shit like that. Yeah, those people you want to friend. Don't friend the dudes that are like, "I got 9 Lamborghinis and can buy your whole bloodline." I think the most sad thing a person can do in world chat is flex their collection. Don't get me wrong, I myself have an all right collection. All right, so my phone's gonna load first for the next 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, you see how bad my internet is now that okay, so yeah, I have an okay collection, all right. It's not the best, it's somewhat average. 9 mythics, 3 prestige, 20 legendaries. Not bad. Not bad at all. But then you got dudes who will be like, no one's got a collection like me. They're like maxed out 25 mythics, pretty much everything in the game. I honestly think the saddest thing you can do is flex in world chat and be like, look at all my mythics. I'm so rich. I think you meant to correct yourself and said you were rich until you made really shitty financial decisions. But hey, at least your account's worth $500. of the 25,000 you spent. Good for you. Now, obviously, buying everything in the game isn't actually like $25,000. More, I would say, in the range of like $3,000, maybe even 2,500. Because mythics are what, 150? Now, if you owned everything in the game, I think the max would be like $10,000. I don't even think it'd be 20K. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, honestly. But yeah, I genuinely speaking, I think the most like embarrassing and pathetic thing you could do is just flex in world chat and be like, "I'm so rich, bro. Look at all my mythics." You know, y- like you don't see me in world chat. You don't see me, talking on the stream like, "Oh, I got 9 mythics, bro." Like I'm so rich. I promise you, the dudes that are flexing in world chat are the same dudes who can't even afford like ramen noodles, dude. Like you're like local Dollar General. I'm not even shitting you too. Um, I think the worst type of person you can meet in world chat is a rage baiter. I'm gonna keep like I'm gonna be real. I think the rage baiting like whole concept is just not even what it was. Like, because back in like when it was actually funny, it's like rage baiting was technically rage baiting is just trolling, but like you know, like back then it was trolling, which trolling was actually funny, you know. But I feel like now rage bait is just like an excuse to just disrespect people. Like I'm not even joking. Like dudes will be like, they'll say anything, and if you breathe, they're like, "Oh, you fell for the rage bait," and then like they'll be like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna kill your whole family," and you'll be like, "Bro, what?" And they'll be like, "Oh, you fell for the rage bait." Honestly, it's so overused. Like I don't even know, 'cause it's like dudes will find any excuse to say you got rage baited when you have the most straightest face, like the most poker face. I'm not even kidding. Like you can just be staring at the screen like the fuck's this guy on about? And he'll be like, "Oh, you bro, you fell for the rage bait, you must be so mad." Yeah, bro. That's how it is for, the most of the time. Don't get me wrong though, like some people are actually really good at it, which I think is kind of pathetic. I'm not gonna lie. Because like, what are you gonna put on your job application? Professional rage baiter? You're not getting hired, brother. You're gonna be homeless. Imagine yourself as an employer, all right? Imagine you're interviewing someone and you're looking at their resume, right? You're looking at their resume and their under skills, it says professional rage baiter. Now, I mean, obviously this isn't a realistic scenario, but let's say it is. How are you gonna react? You're just gonna like, oh, yeah, this guy's perfect for the job. No, professional rage baiter, you like seeing people that are mad, or like you like getting a rise out of people. You're not getting hired. You're not. Matter of fact, they're just gonna throw your application away. They're gonna put it in the Windows trash. They're not even gonna like take it and just put it in the shredder. They're gonna digitally delete that. Now, obviously, yeah, like I said, they're never gonna actually like no one's actually gonna put that down. Well, maybe some people, because it is their only greatest skill. And I think what's worse is when they're like, dude, I'm at work, I'm on a break, and they're in world chat. All right, first of all, I'm gonna keep it real. Yes, people do have jobs that play COD Mobile. But I saw this dude 4 days in the past 4 days in world chat doing the same shit. He just does not have a job. He's talking about some I'm on break. No, yeah, you're on break every day. You don't got a job. You sit on a mobile game and purposely make people mad as a way of entertainment for you. And this is where I'm talking about rage bait is so overused. It's pathetic because he literally sits there on his iPad, iPhone, computer, laptop, whatever the fuck you can play COD Mobile on, and he types in world chat 8 hours a day, hops off, switches world chats, and does the exact same thing. Well, maybe not 8 hours, maybe more like 4 hours, and does the same thing over and over and over every day, all day. That is embarrassing. That is pathetic. That is sad. And I'm keeping it real with y'all. Like, and you know, like I said, put the game down. You know, like that. Like, if you just don't even open world chat, dude. It's honestly not worth it. It sucks though because in order to see a message from your friend, you have to open world chat, which is really, really annoying. And I hate it. Now, obviously, you don't gotta read world chat. Normally, what I do is just stare at my friends' like notification. When like for example here, if I open world chat, you see up here it says world, and I just stare at the friends. I stare at that instead of world chat because it's better. Yeah, it's annoying, and trust me, you guys, at the end of the day, if you put the game down and don't play for like weeks. You are going to be happier. You are going to feel better. You're going to be more confident. All that. I just I put the game down because I got sick and tired of it. I hated playing it. I hated using the same gun over and over and over and over and over every single game. Even in this new update, I'm still using the same gun. No. And I when I do switch guns, want to use an off-meta gun. No, no. Somebody in pubs has got to spam a USS-9. Yeah, so much fun. I love going against the most overpowered gun. Well, technically best SMG. It's still annoying, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Another thing is like if you block someone on COD mobile, like they shouldn't be able to join like a party of yours. So say like you're grouped up with a friend, your friend shouldn't be able to invite that person, or they shouldn't be allowed to join the same group as you. 'Cause there's a reason. There's some reasons why I block people. Like either if they're like you know backstabbers, just stuff like that. If it's just somebody I don't like, basically. I don't want them joining with me because I just don't like them as a person. That's how it should be. That'd be so nice. 'Cause there's some people like last night, like I was playing with a good friend and they invited somebody that low key for like I mean I don't wish any I don't wish any I don't have any like bad ill will or whatever, I wish them the best, but I I just I don't want to deal with that, dude, it's not that I don't want to play with them because they're a bad player. I don't want to play with them because it's them as a person. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think the person was, shitty or anything. I just don't want to associate myself with them. And that's it. That's just me, Dude, it's crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Mm. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'd rather not associate myself, dude. I have no reason, absolutely zero reason to be associating myself with them. And I'm pretty sure my friend knew that I was like, hey, dude, don't invite this person. I don't want to play with them. I don't. I just don't want to associate myself with them. I have no reason to. And honestly, I just don't be around them. Obviously, I'm not actually like, I don't know the best way to phrase this other than like, I just don't want to deal with them. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I hate them. Like, I know I said no ill will, and by that I just, like, yeah, I do wish them the best. I just don't like them as a person, of course. As a player, yeah, they're good. Not better than me though. So, at least I have that as even after 3 weeks, I could probably still shit on them, honestly. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. Um, nah, I'm definitely gonna go live later, so stay tuned, I guess. But for now, I gotta get off. I'm gonna chill. It'll probably be later tonight, somewhere around like nighttime, just because I'm not in the mood to play, man. I'm really not. I really am not. I got so much in my life going on, and COD Mobile is it's not helping. It's really not. It's making it worse. So, my advice is if you're ever stressed or overwhelmed, please take my advice, put the game down. Don't open it. Don't think about it. Get other games. I don't care if it's Minecraft, bro. I don't care if it's Roblox. Play something like play like a sandbox game, farming simulator, something different. I promise you, when you come back, you will realize, you will wake up, and you'll be like, damn, I understand, this game really does deprive you. And it does. They deprive you. They purposely fuck you over. Especially in rank, dude. Even in pubs, they fuck you over. The skill-based damage and fucking desync, they fuck you over on purpose. They do. And I mean, they themselves don't do it. It's more of the servers. Servers do it. But yeah, I mean, that's it for me. Um, I'll be live later. See ya. They don't know how to end the stream.